We are April 2024 going to assemble our Fagus H crossover assembly machine. At this point, the site there's no website or phone number for the company. It comes in two boxes labeled box 2 and box 1, which I've placed over there. And we are going to put an assembly together for this crossover machine because, as it is, like I said, this time, April 2024, there's no videos on the web and no one that has put it together. So we'll get started. I couldn't find the instructions until I opened box 2, so we will see what happens from here. Because of the way my brain works, I took out all of the framing parts so I could lay them out, look at them, and start putting it together. It did come with its own set of tools, and of course all the nuts and bolts and everything. It's in metric, but it doesn't say made in China, which is kind of refreshing if it isn't. You know, since 2020, everything's been made in China, but 4 years prior to that, everything said made in America or USA. So hopefully this is American made and not un-American. And we'll get started. So we can see how the first piece goes together. You have your bolts with the small washers on the inside, large washers, and a nut on the outside. And this piece right here slants inward. For our next piece, you have your bushings that go on top of the crossbar, your bolts that go underneath the bottom. This goes on top of your bushings with the pulley facing inside, and your poles that will go inside the holes with the bolts on the bottom through this piece. Remember to tap the bushings up on the pole before sticking it in the base. On the intermediate column, and the hooks are facing backwards, opposite of the pulleys. I hope this is making sense. This is my first time ever doing a tutorial. At this point, we are now putting on bottom tubes left and right. This will be the front of the machine. As you can see, the back is back there. And let's continue on. The hanging parts go onto those two front legs. I forgot the name of them already, but you see what I'm saying. I suggest, not knowing your ability as being mechanically inclined, but put the bolt in the V back here in without tightening it, so that you can have some play, so that you can line up these 4 bolts. And then once you get these 4 tightened, then come back and finish this one. Be sure when you put the upright posts in, you have the little holes facing frontward and the large holes facing inward towards one another, because I put it on backwards and had to retake it off, but this is where your adjustments will go for your pulleys, and it has to be on the front. So, got that? I'm out here in California sun and it's hot. So with my trusty dusty step stool, I put on what's called the upper something bar, support bar. So that goes here, and there's bolts that go up here. I put the upper support tube right and left, but I put it on one at a time so that I can use this centerpiece to hold on the first one, and then I'll come back and put the second one on and hold it by the centerpiece, and then put it up here. from the top. We got the pull-up bar on going across right here, and there is this funny named piece. I don't know what it's called, but it goes on the outside once you attach the pull-up bar. I believe it's for a barbell to stand up right there, but I can't say the name of it. Don't forget it. When you get these uprights in, then you have to put this piece on and this piece, and they roll upwards, I guess is the best way I can put it, on both sides. So I don't think these matter right or left. At least when I tried it didn't matter right or left. It's just after you get this bar on with the little holes facing the front, remember that, then you can put this on down through the top. I already put the other piece on, I forgot to make that. So this, it goes on before this piece, before the top crossbar piece, and slide it down with your pulleys. Okay, so now we are getting to the main reason why I wanted to make this video. Putting on the cables. Like I said, Fagus H doesn't have any tutorial videos. It doesn't have any website or phone number. So I couldn't find anything on the web. Have anybody have done it yet? And a couple years ago when I bought this Titan tower, there was a guy who on the web showed how to install the cables, and that was a lifesaver. So hopefully, as bad as my video making is, it will be a help to someone. And so we'll get started, and I will figure out from here and how to walk through piece by piece. I'm gonna start with trying to put on the cable. It didn't come with the instructions, but what I figured out is take a pulley off and begin the cable. So this is the long cable, it's number 1, and I've taken the pulley off, and from there we will begin to take pulleys off and go through, and I'll try to make a process of this once I get it down. Okay, so here is the first cable. It's on the first pulley, and it goes up to the first pulley here, and I think it's number 1, 2, 3 on your thing. But so from the pulley here, take off the pulley wheel, put it through, put it back on, but don't tighten it all the way just in case you have to go back. Here's pulley 2, and then you put on the double block pulley. What I would suggest is putting it in so that the bolt, when you take it off, you can, when you have to come back around, you don't have to take off both pulleys. You only have to take off the one on the opposite side. So if you're starting from whatever side you're starting from and you put the double block on, you got to take off both pulley wheels the first time. Put your cable in as it's coming down for the first loop, and then put your 2 pulleys back on and continue going up to your next single pulley up here, down, and then you're putting on your other block that has 2 wheels on top, 1 wheel on the bottom. Same process. Take both wheels off, put your cable through, put both wheels back on. Of course, don't tighten it all the way down, and you loop it back up. You come down, and then you're on your last end, and you're coming all the way to the back where your weight plates would be. And of course, from there you go back up again, and you're coming back the opposite way on the other side. So now when you come down to your double pulley with the single wheel on the bottom, you don't have to take off both wheels. Just slide the bolt out enough so you can take off the one wheel and leave the other wheel on. Put it back on. And you're coming back up on the opposite side over here and putting it through, down. Now you're coming down to your double block. Same process. Pull the bolt out where you can leave your first wheel in. Get your second wheel off. Put your cable through. Back up around. And now we're coming through to the other side. It's basically just going in reverse from how you started. And you're back. You take your pulley wheel off the top, and here you go. So we will continue on when we get to the second pulley. Okay, so for your second pulley, it's actually, your second cable, second rope, it's actually the shortest one. It has this end, and you use your two short bolts that you still have left in your pack to place it on the sliding pole pulley bracket. I suggest probably the lowest rung, and we'll get to threading. So for this second rope, it's probably the easiest because you don't have to actually detach any of its pulleys to make it work. So you come down to your first pulley here, and because of the way the ends are shaped, like I said, you can just roll it right underneath the pulley. And then you come to your second pulley right here in the middle of the Y, and you come under and up, and then you will hit the bottom part of your double block. You go over the top of your double block on the bottom side, down around this middle piece here. It's not actually a pulley, but I don't know what you would call it, a glide, something or other, something to guide it. And you still have your two pulleys back here, which is for your last cable, the second longest one. Then you come back up after you come under this guide here, and back around over the top of your double pulley, the bottom part of the top, and you come down and under, back on the V or the Y on the other side. So, and just thread it underneath, up, back up, and bolt it in. So for the last pulley, the third one, which is the second longest, you start from the top up here, dead center, but this ball, leave it on one end, your starting end, but you can take off the other end because this comes off, and you can just thread it through, and you don't really have to take off any pulleys. So you thread it through here, come down your first pole and through the back down here, and you come under this first pulley on the Y. You go all the way back to your third pulley, and you come up, and your block with the single wheel on the bottom, you loop it over the top, you come back down, and in between your first and last pulley here, you go under and continue the cord till it comes out the bottom up here. And I had to take this pulley off because I couldn't pull it through. I didn't want to break the little rubber bushing. Maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you can take this bottom pulley off, pull this piece through, and then reattach the ball in the lock. And we have all of our cables put together, and yeah, so we'll finish these last little pieces that are just mounted on pieces, and you should be good to go. We have our completed Vegas H crossover machine. I think all I need to do is maybe loosen up the pulleys a little bit for a little easier pull. But now that you've got your crossover machine completed, you know, you won't have to have Joey Swole come in and rescue you from some attention junkie making a TikTok about you because you asked, could you use the machine in the gym? So here we go, our completed Vegas H crossover machine.